Scene 1. Last normal day. Asterion Gate hung over the gas giant like a broken halo. From the command spire's glass, it was all geometry and light. The stabilizer ring glowing faint blue, convoy markers drifting in patient lines, the cold curl of the Orth-Halcyon corridor stretching out like a frozen river. Inside, it smelled like metal, stale coffee, and too many overtime shifts. Traffic log, last 6 hours, Commander Rhee said. The holotank answered with stacked columns of red and amber, freighters waiting in drift. Medical aid ships flagged priority but still held at the edge of the corridor. A handful of warships loitered outside, escorts for traders who could still afford guns. "We're at 109% of design throughput, sir," the traffic officer said. "Holding any longer risks sink drift on the stabilizer Orth station already filed a protest." "They can protest to the gas giant," Rhee said. "We don't push that ring past tolerance, or none of this moves." He pinched the bridge of his nose. In the reflection on the glass, the lines on his face were worn deep. Too many years of being the man between hungry planets and a fragile machine. On the lower tier of the spire, techs murmured into headsets. Status lights washed their faces green and amber. A distant clank shook the decking. Somewhere out along the struts, welders were patching stress fractures with pre-fall alloy they barely understood. The dreadnought Resolute sat nose-locked to the spire like a steel cathedral. Her massive hull dwarfing the smaller frigates and tugboats that fluttered around her. Her guns were cold for now, but everyone on the gate could feel her there, like a coiled fist. "Where is Captain Dalen?" Rhee asked. "On his flag bridge, sir," said his aide. "Patrol drills with the escort group." "Good. Keep him drilling. The pirates are getting bolder." He didn't have to say which pirates. Open band feeds had been full of them lately. Carrion Crown warlords bragging on public channels, raving in front of camera drones, promising to liberate the Orth-Halcyon chain from tolls and tariffs. Their ships, when they showed themselves, clung to shadow and gaps in patrol schedules. So far, Resolute had chased them off. So far, on Dock 3 Delta, the air was thicker and the light harsher. Cargo handler Joran Tal wiped sweat from his eyes and watched the new freighter ease into the cradle. It was an ugly ship. Patched hull, mismatched thrusters, paint scorched from too many hot jumps. The transponder tagged it as Marin's Hope, registered out of a nothing world that Joran had never heard of. "Looks like it's held together with wishes," his partner muttered. "Wishes pay the same as armor," Joran said. "Come on." They cycled out to the gantry as the docking arms clamped. The freighter's ramp hissed down, spilling a wave of warm, oily air. A woman in a patched flight jacket strode out, hands held away from her sides in a mockery of compliance. "Customs," Joran called. His voice sounded thin in the big bay. "State cargo and manifest." "Food, scrap, and cheap luxuries," the woman said. Her accent was wrong for the registry. "Got the list right here, friend." She handed over a slate. The numbers were neat, the declarations boring. Grain supplement, processed protein bricks, machine parts. Joran scrolled through, looking for anything that would flag. Nothing. He was about to hand the slate back when she smiled and leaned in just close enough that the cams on the wall would catch it, but not the thing in her hand. A small sealed box, neutral gray. No markings. "For the inspector," she said quietly. "Processed stim, clean, no cut. You have a long shift ahead. You can scan the crates all day if you want, or you can not make trouble, and I'll make sure your locker smells like something other than cleanser for once." Joran's mouth went dry. He imagined the stim. No more nodding off at the end of a 4-day stretch. No more snapping at the kids over slow messages back home. He imagined the extra credits that would come with it when he traded some to friends on the lower decks. "It's a mandatory scan," he heard himself say. "Random checks. Procedure." "Then check," she said. "You'll find exactly what the list says. I just don't want delays. Cargo spoils, people starve. You don't want that, do you?" Her eyes were steady. There was no threat in them. Just tired calculation. Joran glanced at the wall cams. 2 of them were dead. Tiny red LEDs that should have been on were dark. He remembered a maintenance notice. Optical cluster offline, repair scheduled. No one had come to fix them yet. You're clear for berth, Joran said. He handed the slate back and palmed the box. Welcome to Asterion. The woman smiled wider. See, we can help each other. Behind her, loaders were already moving pallets out of the hold. The crates looked normal. Food, scrap, cheap luxuries. Joran told himself that whatever was hidden deeper in that ship wasn't his problem. On Resolute's bridge, Captain Dallin watched the traffic grid with a soldier's distrust. Another tramp freighter on 3 Delta, his tactical officer reported. Manifest checked by station customs. No anomalies flagged. No anomalies flagged is not the same as no anomalies, Dallin said. Cycle a passive sweep when they route through power. Yes, sir. Dallin's reflection in the bridge glass wore a dress uniform he hated. The Republic's crest sat bright on his shoulder, out of place on a ship that had seen this many refits under the uniform. His body ached from too many grav drills. He still kept the crew running full combat readiness rotations. Budget cuts be damned. Any new pirate sightings? He asked. Nothing with a signature we can pin to the crown, sir, Tack said. Just rumors. Some convoy escorts in Halcyon Space Report being shadowed by dark hulls. Nothing firm. Dallin grunted. He'd watched too many commands fall because they treated pirates as a nuisance, not an enemy. Warlords with throne ships didn't hit without preparation. They bled you first. Docks, manifests, power relays, little cuts. He looked down at Asterion's surface decks in the feed, at the flow of workers and civilians. Thousands of people living their lives in steel corridors, trusting the gate and him to keep them safe. Send a note to Commander Ree, Dallin said. Recommend a full audit of customs. Rotate security. No one watches the same bay day after day. Pattern breaks save lives. Yes, sir, his aide replied. The note would go out. Ree would read it, add it to his stack, and try to act between 100 other fires. It would be just a little too slow. On deck L-18, 3 levels below dock control, a man woke up strapped to a metal chair. His head pounded. His mouth tasted like rust. The last thing he remembered was walking home from night shift, boots heavy, eyes burning, thinking of the stim tab he'd been offered to get through the week. A shadow moved in front of him. A hand slapped his cheek, gentle. Easy, a voice said. You're not dead. He tried to turn his head. Restraints bit into his wrists. Name's not important, the voice went on. What matters is that you have clearances, panel locks, access routes through the struts that our friends on the manifests don't have. Something cold touched the side of his neck. A hiss, warmth spreading through his veins. Work with us, and you walk out, the shadow said. You get more of this. You get credits. Maybe even a transfer off this rusting ring before it breaks. The warmth blurred the room. His fear softened into a strange floating calm. And if I don't? He whispered. The shadow leaned close. He smelled oil, metal, and something rotten. Then you go missing, the voice said, and Asterion is a big place for a body to never be found. The man tried to shout. The drug washed it down into a mumble. Above him, unaware, Commander Ree argued with a budget terminal. Captain Dallin watched convoy markers crawl across a holotank. On Dock 3 Delta, Joran Tal stood in front of his locker, staring at the gray box in his hand. He opened it. Inside, neat rows of white tabs gleamed under the harsh locker light. He told himself he deserved one, just to get through the week. He did not know that this was the first cut. The rot had started in the struts,